illegals and illegals, welcome back, ladies and ladies, to Trump. Yep, it's Trump time. It's Trump o'clock. What time is it? Trump o'clock. You could say that he was arrested on trumped up charges. Anyway, how the fuck is Trump gonna deport 20 million people? This is the question that everyone's been asking for a very long time. Asmongold reacted to a video, and he's gonna talk about it. I am curious to see what this is all about, because everyone likes talking about how, guys, it's gonna happen, he's gonna deport everybody, but bro, how's he deporting 200 million people? I mean, I guess you could ask the same question. How did 20 million illegal people enter the country? I mean, I suppose that is also a valid question. But we are not looking at that today, all right? So Trump just gave a speech talking about his plan to deport everybody. So let's jump right into it, baby.
I don't know how he's going to deport that many fucking people, man.
Okay, Asmongold, you got to think a little bigger, okay? Think catapults, okay? Think water slides, all right? Don't be so narrow-minded. Your teeth rotting out of your head. Can't think, just think of a really big fucking catapult. Okay, that wasn't funny. Moving on.
Like, apparently they said there's over like 20 million illegals in the country.
Yeah.
To get rid of that many people. So like, you do
big catapults.
Do the math, right? So 365 times 4.
Right.
So
that's 4 years, right? He has 4 years in office, right? Unless he becomes a dictator and stays there for a lot longer. So I mean, listen, I mean, the math isn't. Anyway.
1460. So 20 million divided by 1460.
Yeah. Right.
So you got to deport 13,000 people a day. That's
big catapults. It's just a big fucking task physically. See, I have said this the whole time. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm not doubting his virtue and will and want to get rid of illegal immigrants. All right, we're not even getting involved into that shitstorm of a debate. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Realistically, I don't think it's gonna happen for two reasons. One, I think it's gonna be a physical impossibility because I don't think he's gonna go the catapult route. I'm just saying the catapult route is probably not going to be done, all right? I was not elected Secretary of State simply for the reason that my suggestion of catapults was immediately deemed slightly less than ethical for some reason. But, bro, I don't see it happening on a just genuine physicality purpose. And second, I think if he starts throwing illegal immigrants out of the country, all those people's legal cousins are not going to want to vote for Trump. So I don't know. I don't know how he's planning on doing it. I don't think it's actually going to happen. But we're going to let Orange Man yap, and maybe he's going to change my opinion. All right, let's go.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people. Like, yeah. Plus the family. Yeah, that's a lot. If you got to deport, that's a lot of deporting. That's every day. You don't take a day off.
I mean, you could take a day off, but then the next day you have to get rid of 26,000 people. So, I mean...
Stories that we are seeing here on this Monday, and one of them...
See, but here's the thing. I don't think they're going to get rid of every illegal immigrant. As long as they fucking, prevent a lot more illegal immigrants to enter the country, and at least deport them on a scale that's small enough that it doesn't directly... involve catapults, but also big enough to recognize that there is deportations happening. I really think that's gonna be a Trump dub. I think that's the dub that he's gonna try to take here. Secure the border more and ship people out on a meaningful but not too meaningful scale. Airdrops, bro.
Do with President-elect Donald Trump. We saw in his past...
I think Trump's goal is terrorist immigrants, terrorist sympathizers, not all immigrants. I never said... Did I ever say all immigrants? First of all, we're talking about illegal immigrants. And second of all, obviously, his main focus is going to be on illegal immigrants that are actually causing crime, like cartel people and stuff like that. He says it's going to be all illegal immigrants, and I don't think that's going to happen. Bro, they ain't getting 20 million people out of the country in 4 years. Come on, dude.
Administration where he would make news on social media, and that is going to continue on during this administration, already doing so today. I do want to mention and showcase this. This is what I am talking about.
By the way, I think it's a good thing that more politicians and people like this are doing news and like putting out their own stuff rather than...
Facts. So facts. Huge facts. 100%. I think the biggest reason why Trump was elected in 2016 is because he would communicate directly with the American people. I think that's how he actually got his name out. Like, he actually communicated directly with Americans by broadcasting his actual voice on Twitter to people to directly listen to him. Not people that need to listen to newscasters, listening to reporters, listening to what they reported from the politicians sitting in their golden throne. I 100% agree. I do think that this is the future.
Than using media to put out information, because it gives them more power and it takes power away from the media. That I
huge dub, because fuck the media. Am I right, guys? Am I right, guys? Can I get a like for people that don't like the media? Damn, that was the easiest call to action I've ever seen.
think is biased and controlled and works against people's best interests.
This has to do about his mass deportation plan when it comes to undocumented immigrants here. This is what was said where Donald Trump confirmed some of
I hate that word, undocumented immigrants. I think that's the most annoying fucking word, because it's just
undocumented. You mean illegal, but you're pussyfooting. I see.
Soft language to make it seem like they're not committing the law.
Committing the law. He means breaking the law. But yeah, no, I also love that. People, especially news articles, they will literally fucking warp language around just for the sake of delivering a message that is not their truth. But you can't blame them, because all they did was pervert sentences. Like these fucking news articles that write smear articles on me. You know, me, myself, Nux, this little blue fucker over here, when they're writing these actual smear articles on me and they twist my words to make a title that's completely not a headline that's completely not the reality. Yeah, that's right. That happens to me. And I'm not Trump. I'm not important. I'm just some idiot on the internet.
It's like saying that you have undocumented stuff when you walk out of a store because you don't have a receipt because you stuck.
Chat, what the It's like calling anal rape surprise butt sex. Chat, this is why we keep you, okay? This is why we keep you off the screen, right? Everyone wonders why I don't have chat in the corner. This is why, all right? Thank you.
Oh, they're illegal immigrants. Undocumented.
News reporting that has been in the past saying, this was from Tom Fitton putting this out, saying reports are that incoming Donald Trump administration.
I'm not a tax evader. I just have undocumented income. Oh, yes. Appreciate you guys a lot.
Prepared to declare a national emergency and will use military assets to reverse the Biden invasion through a mass deportation program.
So he's going to try and use the military? Whoa!
Yeah, but you got to wonder what he's going to do with the military. Like, what on earth is he going to do with them? Is he just going to, like, send them in, grabbing people, throwing them in the back of fucking cattle cars and driving them over the border? Like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. How are they going to do this physically? How are they going to move 20 million people?
And then he just responds. He says, true.
Good news reports are the incoming Donald Trump administration prepared to declare a national emergency and will use military assets to reverse the Biden invasion through a mass deportation program. True. True. A lol. Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Dude, calling it the Biden invasion is hilarious. Holy shit.
Then Donald Trump replying and putting it out there, confirming it, saying true with some exclamation points here. So we want to continue to talk about this, a major policy, of course, of Donald Trump, what he campaigned on when it was talking about migrants in the United States. So let's bring in our next guest here of this hour. This is from Axios, Steph Kite, Axios politics reporter and immigration expert. Thanks so much for joining us here on
Immigration expert and politics reporter. These are high and very important titles for someone to have to hear their opinions on this. By the way, before I get canceled for all my jokes about catapults, there were literally jokes. Obviously, I don't think that people are going to be loading illegal immigrants into catapults, okay? Obviously, that's fucking insane and ridiculous. It was an emphasis of how insane it will be to transfer all these people.
live now from Vox Today.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So let's get right into it here. This is something, of course, that Donald Trump campaigned on, talked about what would happen if he became president. Now we're seeing some of
what the fuck is he doing? Like,
what he is describing as his plans for this administration. Just tell us a little bit about the details of this. Of course, he said during it that he was going to focus the beginning parts on the actual criminal migrants in the country.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that with a second Trump administration, he's going to be, even more aggressive when it comes to cracking down on unauthorized immigrants in the U.S. And
yeah, no shit, he's gonna end up being more intense. He doesn't have to run for a third term. Like, the funniest thing is, like, when you have someone in their first term, they're still gonna run again. So they're not gonna do anything too fucking insane. But when they're in their second term and they have nothing to lose,
he's planning to use all sorts of legal loopholes and
what do you mean legal loopholes? They are literally in the country illegally. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, maybe not ethically, but physically.
And options within the federal government to do so. We've heard him talk a lot about using parts of the military to crack down on cartels in Mexico.
I feel like that's probably...
See, but that's the big question. And I heard this a lot of times, okay? That he's going to crack down on cartels in Mexico. The question is if he's going to send military units directly into Mexico to fuck up cartels. Or if he's using the military to just grab people and throw them into the back of cars.
Probably what he should do, to be honest, because I feel like a lot of the people that voted for him, that's what they want to have happen.
I mean, 100%. And again, I think that the cartels in Mexico that are shipping crime and drugs and shit over the border, like, what is differentiating the cartel doing that to just terrorists? Like, isn't that just terrorism? Maybe it's not for some higher power, unless that higher power is money. But that's just terrorism with extra steps. So I would not be shocked if Trump just deems and defines all cartels as terrorists and invades to fucking cook those frauds. The Mexican military is actively fighting the cartel. In the past, U.S. Special Forces trained Mexican anti-cartel teams helped in combat. I think Trump's going to crank it up to 1,000. Yeah, I mean, maybe. But if he actually defines them as terrorists and starts sending in SEAL Team 6 to fucking just murk some fucking cartel bosses, I really think that that would be insane.
Like, I feel like this is like a big topic for a lot of people, and they want him to do this.
For example, but also using federal law enforcement agents to expand the number of people who can be involved in these arrest and deportation efforts. Because when it comes to arresting undocumented immigrants and deportation, it requires a lot of logistical planning, and it requires a lot of manpower. And
that's the big question. Even if you want to say that he's going to try to deport people, the big question is how on earth is he going to physically be able to do it? Dog.
An investment from the federal government, and I've spoken to Trump officials who say that they do have very specific plans to not just involve ICE agents whose job it is to kind of arrest and deport immigrants who are in the country unlawfully, but to also include other federal agents such as DEA agents. Potentially.
Thank fucking God. Make the DEA useful.
Make the DEA great again. Get out of here, Walter. No one's having sex with you, Walter.
Great.
Bro, they're all mineral enthusiasts instead of actual fucking... no, I don't know. I'm not saying the DEA is useless. Obviously, the DEA tries to do shit, probably. Maybe. But, like, guys!
The National Guard. So they're going to use as many options as possible to make this happen.
And another question that is big and continues to be talked about and remains to be unseen. So we don't, it's not just not on the border counties and towns. These migrants are really all across the country. So how would this look as far as from getting them from one place to the next? How would that look like?
I mean, that is the question. What on earth is going to be different in America to actually do this shit?
Just get them on a plane, fly them out, right?
Yeah, I mean, again,
he says it so simply, but you do realize that's a lot of people. Shipping out 20 million people, that's a lot of planes and a lot of money that's going to pay for those planes. we're gonna make a train. We're gonna make Mexico pay for our catapult. Like what, bro?
Very difficult logistical maneuvers,
Yeah.
right? And there's different ways that ICE agents will target immigrants in the country illegally, and some are work site raids, for example. That's something we've seen in the past, where if they have knowledge that there is a company that's employing immigrants who are not in the country lawfully, that can be one target for ICE
They
agents.
say they're gonna raid him.
Why is that surprising?
God damn.
That's exactly. Does he think that people are gonna volunteer? I volunteer as tribute. I am an illegal alien. I volunteer. Like, bro, obviously they're gonna raid people. That is the threat, right?
Wow.
Sometimes they can, target specific people's homes. This is usually the case when the person in question has, some kind of criminal record. So
Yeah.
this could look a lot of different ways. And I will point out that in the past, deportation sounds, can be something that people in the U.S. are supportive of. They feel like immigrants should follow the law in the processes to get here. But the reality of a worksite arrest or at-home arrest is quite hands-on and can be, a disturbing public image at times.
Disturbing public image. Bro, the point of this is for public image. If you make it... Dude, the reason why this is so fucking insane is because people right now, I think, feel like they could just illegally go to America without repercussions because people aren't getting made examples of when they're being shipped out. Like, I think that Trump is going to want to do this as publicly as he can. Just purely to make that... make that message. Dude, it's fucked up, bro. A lot of these people are here on asylum. I mean, true, but there are, like, legal ways to do it. Obviously, America's #1 priority is Americans, right?
Especially when you have kids involved or you have parents involved, when you have kids who are U.S. citizens involved. So that is a question, that I have as we move towards this as a speaker.
I think that, like, that's true to an extent, but I actually think that, like, most people probably don't give a fuck. It's womp womp, too bad.
Yep. They are going to want to do this publicly. They're going to want to make this example. I don't think people are going to be like, oh, the poor, the people that fucked up as it is to say.
Right, deport them together, yeah. Like, I think that the sentiment has changed a lot because I feel like there's been a lot of,
Just simply put, everyone that voted for Trump knew that this was a complete realistic possibility. That is over 50% of the population. Okay? Over 50% of Americans are going to cheer when they watch that happen. Okay? Obviously, these illegal immigrants' lives are going to be much more difficult, but 51% of America is literally waiting for that. So, like, I don't think that there's a big fear of ruffling feathers when he, throws illegal immigrants out. I think the question is much more on the practicality of how he's going to do it.
Emotional blackmail that a lot of, like, different policies use and they utilize. And so it's like, well, you don't want to do this because it would make people sad. And I feel like that's not as effective anymore. Like, people just don't give a fuck about it as much. They're like, yeah, we know that. We're going to do it anyway.
Damn.
And that follow the law. Exactly. And I think that, a lot of people...
I'm a big fan of chaos here and there, but there is a reason why there's laws, right? Listen, healthcare CEOs might be fucking evil people, but that doesn't mean you could just pull out a gun and murder one of them in broad daylight and watch Hassan cheering for that man's death. Like, that's pretty fucking crazy. I'm not defending this CEO guy, but I am witnessing the fact that a lot of people don't think the law is important for some reason. The big question here is logistics, I think. A lot more than the sad card. The sad card and the emotional blackmail card, that's over. I think people really don't care anymore. People have been trying to do it for years.
We're just tired of that.
Becomes more of a reality. Do we see continued support for these kinds of policies as we've seen during this election cycle, or do we see a backlash when people realize the reality of what a mass arrest and what mass deportation efforts actually look like? And
I think
I don't think people are gonna change their mind. I don't think people are gonna see someone get deported and be like, oh, I changed my mind. When I wanted them to be deported, I didn't actually think this would happen.
there's also a chance it could be the opposite.
I think it's much more likely the opposite. It'll definitely de-incentivize people from actually wanting to illegally enter the country.
when people actually see that it's happening and it's working,
And
it
that-
will make them even more supportive of it.
They'll be like, a politician that's actually doing what he said he would be doing? Ain't no way! Say it ain't so!
Because it's like, it was one thing that, like, you're talking about it, but, like, whenever it's happening, and people are like, holy shit, like, it's actually happening, yeah, people are going to be more supportive. Because you want to get people motivated, have them win.
And on the deportation front in particular, I would note that deportation is a very difficult maneuver, that we only have so many planes. Logistically,
Yep.
you know, think about
Yeah,
commercial
that's the
flying,
problem.
all that goes into traveling across the country, and then add in a international flight, sometimes to very far destinations. And the fact that these are people who typically are shackled while they're being deported, all
Shackled, fuck.
of the
This is a huge
security
pain in the
required
ass.
for that. So this is going to be a very difficult lift, requiring
Yeah, that's the real question. You gotta just wonder, bro.
a lot of resources, potentially additional resources from Congress. So while Trump is clearly very serious about these proposals, you know, it will take a lot to actually get it done, not to mention cooperation from countries like Venezuela that we've had difficulty with them actually receiving their citizens back.
And tell me a little bit
How would you have
Steph,
difficulty with that? It's their fucking people.
about
Yeah, what
the
do you mean?
media
Obviously, no one wants to see people suffer. And again, I don't know what the mindset is of people that are illegally in the United States, but most of these people are just people. And that's obviously fucking bad. But from the perspective of a government, you gotta keep your citizens safe. And you gotta keep your border secure. You're not a fucking country, bro.
perspective and just how much
I think it's real privilege opinion to think you're owed the right to live in a place that's not yours, and think that you're owed some kind of consideration for your situation when you disrespected us by coming here. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, like, to be honest, like, if I was a if I lived in like one of those countries in like South America that sucks, like, I would try my best to try to get up here, right? And if
But again, in my opinion, it's a fuck around and find out situation. If you know you're doing something illegal and you know that there are possible repercussions of you doing this thing illegal, then womp womp if that illegal repercussion actually happens. I'm sorry for you that your life is in a rough spot, but you literally fucked around and now you're finding out. Obviously, I think this should be done as ethically as possible, and you need to definitely give them the most humane treatment you can if you're gonna, you know, ship them off. But dude, 20 million people. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't think they're gonna do it.
I thought I would illegally immigrate too. But the thing is also, I mean, you can't expect people to just like be okay with that. Like, I don't blame them for doing it, but it doesn't mean that you can let them do it. Like, it basically, like, I can see where they're coming from. I can see why they're doing it. It's just, it doesn't mean it's okay.
Again, it's the fuck around, find out situation. They fucked around, and they're gonna find out if they get caught. Like, again, it's the same idea with a poor guy stealing food, okay? Now, stealing is wrong, okay? So if a poor guy steals food, he did something wrong. And if he's caught, he's gonna need to pay for it. That's the reality. And I'm sorry for the poor guy that was poor, that felt the need to steal food. You can't just fucking steal food. It's just a simple analogy, and it's a lot less emotionally driven of an analogy, but in my opinion, there's a reason why there's laws. And if you're not following the laws, you should know that there is a chance. If you're gonna, drive on a red light because you're in a rush and you end up getting a ticket, the only person you could blame is yourself.
I mean, I feel like if you can't see why they're doing it, I mean, like, bro, come on, think
I mean, obviously, there's a reason why they're doing it. Obviously, there's a reason why they're doing it.
about it.
of maybe how hard it will be to maybe report on these almost in real time, because you figure, you doubt that there would be press releases, come to this area to see a mass arrest. It likely won't come
an
out like
event?
that. So how will it be on the media landscape to
Oh
be
my God,
reporting
dude.
on this?
Media landscape. Bro, you're gonna have live streamers doing it. You're gonna have freaking Fox News Live and CNN Live, literally both reporting on the same shit, giving completely different stories as it's going down. Oh God, all the Riz of the Special Forces units have showed up. They have so much skibbity Riz right now. It's crazy. Bro, those illegal immigrants just got community noted IRL. I can't believe that just happened. Damn. He literally, he gooned too close to the sun, didn't he?
As it is happening.
It's a good question. And, it'll probably depend on the situation, right? There are some cases where administrations have wanted to showcase these processes as, a reason to deter illegal immigration towards the U.S., right?
Yeah, that's what I've been saying the whole fucking thing. That's literally the thing. Yeah, this is a huge deterrent. Because until now, when people aren't getting deported, obviously people are going to feel like, yeah, it's illegal, but like, what are they going to do? It's literally incentivizing people to break the laws and not face consequences. And the more laws are broken without consequences faced, the more it incentivizes more people to break more laws and face less consequences. Listen. That's just pretty basic parenting.
Right? This is sometimes a measure to show that the U.S. is taking this seriously. So I would not be surprised if in some instances the Trump administration, the future Trump administration would want some press coverage of events like this. Oftentimes they rely...
Well, they will want press coverage of it because there's a lot of people that voted for him.
Dude, but the thing is, if Trump would be the ultimate hero if he does this shit to a lot of people. Because, the people that voted for him wanted to see it. Imagine seeing a politician actually do what they promised to do. This is like an unfathomable new history. When's the last time you heard of a politician say they were going to do something and they actually did it? It's mind-boggling. Mind-blowing. A politician keeping their word? Of course Trump is going to literally broadcast that shit. Are you kidding me? It's going to be live streamed to Trump's X account.
That they voted for him to do this. That's what that was the point.
Dude, they're gonna fucking open season this shit. You know how like there's a billion Predator hunters now on Kick and on like all these live stream platforms? Bro, there's gonna be some fucking unhinged content farms of people reporting illegal immigrants. Like, you could say pre-watched right now, but there is actually gonna be snitch content farms. It's gonna be fucking crazy. And I am scared for human lives. But that said, bro needs to make sure laws are enforced.
Right? And so, of course, they're going to want coverage of it because it's like him saying, like, hey, I said I was going to do this. Here it is. It's happening.
Yeah.
Right. That's why he won. Yeah, exactly. Wasn't Obama deporter in chief? Oh, yeah. Obama deported more people than I think anybody.
Dude, Obama, it's amazing how Obama, like, has such a, like, clean reputation on the internet, despite the fact that he was involved in, like, such insane drone strike shit and deportation shit. Like, you gotta wonder. I guess the media was doing a better job back then at censoring information, I suppose. Classic media. Well, anyway, Media L. No one trusts them anymore. L douchebags.
On local press, people who are on the ground where these arrests are taking place. I have had the opportunity to watch deportation flights board and take off from the border. So it is something that you do have select access to, but also given the risks involved, there is limited access there. But, it has been interesting that these policies may be controversial to some, but Trump has been very open about what his plans are when it comes to cracking down on immigration in the U.S.
I mean, to be honest, I think that's the reason why people like Trump. A lot of people just like Trump because it seems like he's like an honest guy. Like, no, doesn't it kind of look that way? Like, people are like, yeah, Trump may be fucking inflammatory as all shit, but at least he says what he means and he tries to do what he says. I think that's what a lot of people actually think when they think of Trump. They're like, he's like, we're gonna take them, we're gonna ship them over the border, it's gonna be crazy, skibbity toilet riz, and everyone's like, holy shit, he's actually gonna do it. The orange man is gonna do it.
It's been well reported throughout the campaign. We can look back at what he did during the past administration. This isn't an issue that Trump shies away on. It's one that he feels very confident in. So
I think that he shied away from it more in the first term. And I think that now the public has a different perception on like deportation. I think that in 2016, the way I remember it is that people were a lot softer on it. And I think that now people have a much harsher stance. I think that one of the big reasons for that is because of the economy. So the economy is a lot worse. And so the idea that illegals are putting pressure on the economy, whether you believe that is true or not, I think that it becomes a lot stronger of a motivator for people to have less empathy.
I mean, I think that that's a big part of it. I also think it's a matter of messaging. I feel like a lot of the media has become a lot more obviously deceptive. And in the past, I feel like there was like more into 2016 times, there was so much more of an emphasis on moral grandstanding than there is now. I feel like so many people are just so fucking tired of the moral grandstanding. And back then it was like Trump racist. Oh, Trump wants to get rid of illegal immigrants, he's racist. And the internet was much more receptive to calling people racist at that point. Now everyone gets called a racist literally 100 times a day on the internet. So at this point, it doesn't fucking matter if you call him a racist when it's like, dude, there's crime, there's drugs, there's job problems. The media's lying to us. We're getting our information from X now instead of from the mainstream. And Trump is saying this, and technically the law is the law. And I feel like I feel like it was just a communication change, and people are just tired of the constant moral grandstanding change, even than it's necessarily something else. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
The softly approach didn't work. Yeah, and I think so.
Well, yeah.
And now, you know, if you look at it now, I think a bunch of people. And also, I feel like another component to this is like the, you know, proverbial like Overton window. I think that a lot of people actually did want this, but back in like 2016, the culture hadn't shifted enough to where it was acceptable to say it. But now it has. And I think that now people are just pretty much saying it flat out. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. Get the fuck out of here. And I even remember like Donald Trump talked about, you know, like I think it was 14th Amendment. I don't know if it's 14th or not. No, 19th is women voting. I think it might be 14th Amendment. It like kind of guarantees somebody's citizenship if they're born here. I remember he talked about that in 2016 and 2015. And he even said kind of like he alluded like, yeah, we're probably not going to be able to get rid of that. And so now I feel like there's been a massive shift.
Yeah, I think there's been a massive shift on like every single part of this discourse. I mean, from the general guy's perspective, all the way to the way the media represents this shit. It's kind of crazy.
Have a lot of insight into some of his big border proposals, though of course there's always been a little bit of a difficult relationship between the press and, you know, former President Trump, so that could impact things.
Yeah, that is so true.
Dude, and the crazy thing is, like, I feel like some people, like, when I hear people discuss this from the other side of the aisle, it's like, how inhumane of Trump to want to deport illegal immigrants. And it's mind-boggling to hear that take. It's actually mind-boggling. You gotta wonder, man. You gotta wonder. You gotta wonder and wonder.
And it'll be interesting to see.
I don't think that the press can hold him accountable for things anymore because the press has damaged their reputation so much.
That's what I've been saying the whole time. The press literally shot themselves in the foot, especially in regards to Trump. Bro, the hugest L I think that the media did over Trump's running is vilifying him. That is easily the biggest media L on the entire fucking docket. If they wouldn't have just, they in 2016, they constantly vilified this man. Like, for everything. They called him Hitler and a Nazi and an authoritarian and a fascist and a dictator and all that shit. And you know what? His 4 years in term, none of that happened. They were obviously lying. And they cucked so hard to that garbage, they completely annihilated their credibility. We are living in a post-media collapse world, okay? And it's hilarious to see. It is so funny to see how little credibility they have. Just because they obviously shot themselves in the foot in regards to Trump.
Like, basically, back in the day, even in 2016, like, mainstream media had more of a stranglehold on, culture and conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas now, I think it's completely lost that stranglehold.
It more than lost it. It's, they don't have any hold. It's not that they just lost a stranglehold. They have zero impacts into the perspective of, I think, the majority of American citizens at this point. People use the news for a biased little peek at what's going on in the world, recognizing that what they are telling you just might not be true. I would argue that they are in a state of post-Nux clarity, recognizing that they fucked up.
I think basically everything from, like, COVID was the pinnacle, and then everything went downhill after that.
I think it was Trump, even more than COVID. Like, I think COVID definitely fucked up their stranglehold to some degree, but I think it was mostly Trump. I think it was the way that they framed Trump as some fucking monster, and then his first term passed and he didn't really do anything that monstrous. Obviously, he had some pop-off moments. He had his Call of Duty lobby moments, but dog, fuck. Bro's just gone. They're gone. They're cooked. They cooked themselves. They have put on the clown makeup, and now we call them clowns.
Again, how it is all going to play out from a campaign-style stump speech to seeing it displayed in real life here. So that will be what a lot of people are going to be looking at. And it should be also noted that the majority of Trump supporters, this is something that they want to see. And
Exactly.
Yep, 100%.
They want to see him bring home the bacon.
Yeah, that's why they elected him. They elected him because they want him to fulfill the thing that he promised. So the fact that the people on the left are hoping for Trump to make a spectacle out of deporting immigrants, and then people are gonna see Trump for the evil that he truly is. They're gonna see the evil Trump for what he is. An evil man deporting people and separating their families. It is literally gonna blow up in their face all over again. They are literally going to completely lose this war if they end up reporting this to try to vilify Trump. Them reporting this will give Trump the ammo he needs to fucking cook forever.
They want to see this happen. Like, that's the
But I think there's such a big disconnect right now between the right and the left and what they think that the population wants. I think the right thinks that the people want to see deportations, and the left thinks that when people see deportations, everyone's gonna lose their mind. Because, oh my god, what are they doing to these people? And I think because of this dissidence, we're gonna see a massive amount of reporting on this shit from complete alternate perspectives to try to get the emotional response they need, and one of these sides will lose so badly. Oh my god, we are witnessing a downfall in real time. God, I'm so ready.
thing that I feel like a lot of people aren't keeping in mind. Like, he's going to do what's going to be like what his people want him to do. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
They want to see it. Yeah, exactly. And I think also people that are going to kind of push against it, like any like Republicans or anybody else that pushes against it, I feel like they're just going to get shit on so hard.
Oh, dude, they're going to get fucking destroyed. We're literally watching, in my opinion, they're going to show it, and Trump is going to just keep winning. Like, he's literally just going to keep winning. They're gonna try their best to fucking they're gonna try their best to annoy the people by saying, look at how they're emotionally scarring the illegal immigrants, and dog, oh god, bro.
They even talked about how high it was on the totem pole for them when it came to the economy and illegal immigration, that this was one of the two factors that they want. That's why they wanted Donald Trump back in office.
True. And honestly, the craziest part is people are in their bubble so much when it comes to politics, and in this case specifically, it's going to be the people on the left that are in a bubble so much that they don't realize that people actually want deportations to happen. It's like what you saw with when Trump won, and every celebrity on the planet literally fucking lost their shit and was talking about how they couldn't believe how many of these people are voting against the rights of women.
Yeah, that's exactly why. 100%.
Yeah, fuck, man, that's crazy.
It looks like we may have. Let's see. Do we have? I'm sorry, we lost you there for 1 second.
They should just use Discord. This shit never happens on Discord.
True.
Like, I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, some internal. Just use Discord, man. Like,
Yeah,
what are y'all
stop
doing?
being cool.
All right, can you hear me now?
Probably still using
We
Skype.
got you good right now.
They literally don't have her good.
It's gonna add your
They literally do not have video. They only have audio. No!
absolutely right that these policies are very popular with Republicans. It's one of the big reasons why Trump felt like he won the election, because he was right on this issue and spoke to the American people. And I would add that it's not just Republicans. And one of the things we've seen over the past year are more independents and even some Democrats raising more concern about the way policies at the border in particular have operated, especially with so many migrants heading towards Democratic-run cities. That has caused a lot of concern with Democratic officials even.
Well, the reason why that's changed is because people have felt negative effects from it. I think it's really easy for people that live in places that aren't affected by...
Dude, look at Canada. Holy shit. The cost of living in Canada is impossible right now. Largely due to immigration policies. But Dude, people are recognizing the effects of these things. So obviously, the thing is, being a right-wing guy, being a left-wing guy, your lives are pretty much the same, okay? Ultimately, you are a lot more similar than the uber rich versus the uber poor. It doesn't matter what's... you want to be able to afford food. You want to be able to live. You want to be able to have a nice life with a family that loves you. And you basically more or less have the same values. You're going to have differences on certain areas, but for the most part, you want to be able to lead a life that you'll just be happy leading, okay? And I think that's just genuinely 99% of people. So ultimately, when things like food are expensive, people are going to want to change, no matter what the fuck political bias they have.
Immigration, to have high-minded opinions on illegal immigration, like it's okay or good. But when all those people get bused to their city, or they get bused to their place, and then there's problems, well, then suddenly things are different.
This is an issue that a lot of Americans want to see change on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Steph Kite, thank you so much for joining us on live now from Fox Axios reporter and also immigration expert. Always great to have you on. We appreciate your insight. Thanks again for all of the updates on this big matter. We appreciate it.
All right, so basically they never addressed actually how Trump is going to do it, aside from maybe mobilizing military. But again, I don't see it as a feasible possibility that he's going to move out 20 million people. I really don't think that's going to happen. That said, I do think he is going to make a show out of moving out a couple thousand for sure.
As always, we do want to continue on here on this subject. Let's go out right now to the border. That is where we have...
Yeah, I mean, like, deport all anchor babies. I feel like there's a lot of people that want to do that. Like, regardless, like, I don't think that they really give a fuck about the amendment or not. They're like, yeah, that's what we want to do. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I feel like they're probably not going to be able to be honest with you. I don't think that's going to happen. But maybe it will. I'm not sure. Will I do IRL border streams? I don't know about that.
No!
I have no idea.
No!
So, you know, we'll see what happens. Supreme Court will stop that.
People will do IRL border streams for sure. I'm telling you, there are going to be some fucking opportunistic streamer people that are going to try their best to capitalize on the drama of snitching on illegal immigrants and watching them get deported. I'm telling you that's a thing that's going to happen. Like, I guarantee you.
Funny thing about that. So... It's actually really convenient you bring up this. Yeah. So there's a really interesting situation with that. Wow. Ooh. Well, as a matter of fact,
damn,
nobody wants family separations. I think that you're wrong on that.
I think people just want immigrants to leave. Like, it's the logic all over again. No one wants family separations when a dad is a criminal and gets arrested either. They don't want to separate the dad from the kids. But ultimately, if the dad commits a crime and they arrest the dad, then unfortunately family separations happen. I think that's how a lot of people look at illegal immigrants.
I actually think that a lot of people don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I actually think that a lot of people don't care.
True.
Now, you still going to have some people that do. But I think that there's kind of been like a...
I think everyone's going to feel bad for the kid, but I think people are going to be like, yeah, I feel bad for the kid, but dude's a criminal. I think that's going to be a lot of people's take.
Again, like kind of like a big cultural shift against like what's considered, I would say, emotional blackmail, where I think a lot of policies, the effectiveness of the policies or like the push against the policies was kind
of like all the racism thing, all the times where Peter cries racism. There's slowly but surely these things are dying. Slowly but surely people are gonna stop caring. Video games are gonna stop catering to the fucking diversity, whatever people. Like people are gonna stop catering and caring because ultimately the emotional blackmailing shit was a chokehold on the industry for long enough. It's the same with cancellations, bro. I get canceled on Twitter every day. Okay, every day, some fucking idiot on Twitter tries to cancel me. And, you know, honestly, a couple years ago, I might have felt bad about it. But right now, I literally could not give less of a shit.
Kind of suppressed because people didn't want to have the bad optics of supporting something that could be seen as mean. But now I think that people don't care about that as much, and they're more willing to just have whatever opinion that they actually have. And I think that really there's a lot of people that support family separation.
Yep.
I think that...
And I think the logic is the same as saying, all right, let's say you have a family and the dad is a murderer, okay? Should you arrest the dad? And it's like, well, yes, he's a murderer, but it'll separate the family, right? yes, it will, and I'm sorry for the child, but the dad's a murderer. And I think a lot of people are going to look at this similar way and be like, well, he's a criminal, so that's life.
I don't know. I don't think it's a majority. I don't think it's a majority of people. It might be a majority of Republicans, but I think it's a extremely high number. It's a much higher number than people are expecting. Terrible take.
Again, I think that a lot of people, especially like on the left, they're not willing to leave their little echo chamber and bubble and recognize the fact that people do not see things the same way they do. I think the same thing with Republicans, by the way, that they're not willing to see this. But in this specific case, I think people aren't willing to accept that people don't think the way they do. That's why so many people had meltdowns when Trump won, because they couldn't even fathom a reality that someone would vote for Trump. Like, it was so mind-boggling to them that there might be a Trump supporter out there somewhere. Like, they couldn't get it. In their mind, the Trump supporters are the fringe Nazi people that might be voting for him. And they couldn't even wrap their heads around the reality that, no, actually, most people in the country voted for Trump.
I mean, I'm just doing a temperature check. This is what, like, I'm reading social media. I see videos. I see what people are saying in comment sections. I'm looking at, like, how news are covering things. Like, I mean, I'm not really, like...
Dude, I saw a clip. I don't know. Someone showed me this clip on Instagram. I don't remember. I was just looking at Instagram with somebody. All right, it was a lame day, and I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Please forgive me for my transgression. But anyway, there was this clip of this one guy going around asking people, like, in New York City who you're voting for, like, you know, one of those classic memes. And he went up to some guy, like, who are you voting for? And like, he asked a black person, and the black person said, I'm voting for Trump. And the person asking the question is like, what? But you're black. It was the most, like, the guy, it was like the most accidental racist thing I've ever heard someone say in my life. Like, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. It was like so far out of his realm of reality that something like that could possibly happen.
This isn't like I don't like really want it or not want it. I'm just telling you, this is what I think people are moving towards. Straight up. Like, you can get mad at me, but don't shoot the messenger. I think that people are moving towards this.
Yeah. Anyway, that was pretty fucking crazy. Yeah, so anyway, in conclusion, I don't know how he's deporting 20 million people. I do think he is going to do something, and I do think people are going to cheer him on when he does it. We're walking into uncharted territory, in my opinion. Like, I think that this next 4 years will be a bit of an interesting turning point for America and for the world. And I'm gonna definitely be here to make content about it as it goes down. That's right. More chaos, more content for me. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to build big catapults, and remember to stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.